everybody. Welcome back to this week's edition of Terrace Talk. I mean, games don't get much more difficult than this one for Norwich City, of course, on the back of a pretty horrible run there just before the international break. So looking to bounce back against second in the league, an FA Cup semi-finalist, Sheffield United. And with that, delighted to be joined by Jonny Gascoigne from the Shoreham View. Thanks for joining me, Jonny. To start, have you found the international break? Of course, you just before the break, you got yourselves a place at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, the 3-2 win there over Blackburn. I mean, sometimes these breaks come at a good time for teams and sometimes they come at a bad time. But I suppose for you guys, it's probably come at a bad time.
Always. They always come at a bad time. All international breaks are horrible. I don't mind it in a pre-season for a World Cup or a Euros. Everything else is horrible because it always happens exactly the same. We come back off an international run. We have a stumble. We get back. We go on a good run. We start to find us form again. International break, back to square one, and it seems like that's going to be the case again. I'm hoping that this will be a one-off and we'll just start wild kicking, getting straight back into it. But it's Sheffield United. We never start well after an international break.
Yeah, you guys must be glad there's no more breaks between now and the end of the season. And of course, second in the league as we sit here at the moment. 9 games to go for you guys, 8 for us, I suppose. Well, one, how's the season been so far? I mean, a lot's changed since these two sides met back in October. I mean, I've actually got a table here of the situation at that point. I mean, you guys were 4th there on 26. We were 6th on 25. I mean, you know, we've gone sort of downwards. You guys have gone upwards. You got Middlesbrough chasing you as well on your tail. But how confident are you going to get in the top 2 automatic spaces at the moment?
I mean, look at Burnley in 3rd. Jesus, who would have thought that? I'm never confident. That's just me as a personal preference. If you don't expect anything, you're never disappointed, especially the Sheffield United fan. But it seems, why are we even turning up? Borough's finished second, according to all the pundits, everybody you talk to. Borough's finished second already, so why are we even playing the game? Personally, I think we're better than Borough. They did beat us recently. You take the pace out their front 2, Blackburn are better than they are. I'm more worried about Blackburn catching us because I think they're a better team overall. We should, if we can keep the players fit, if we keep attacking. Our biggest problem has been lining up to not lose games. And that has cost us big time this season. We've lost games, thrown away points where we should have been winning, should have been getting results at home and away. But doing it at home is criminal in my book. And that's why Borough and Blackburn are on his tails. And Luton, to an extent, they've just beat us at home as well. So nothing's written in stone. We can't say, we're going to finish second. We're definitely going up because there's too many chasing us, too many good teams. I'm not taking anything away from Borough. They're a very good team. But we should have enough to go up. Will we? That's the bigger question. And I won't put money on us at this point. Let's just put it that way.
Are you concerned maybe your cup run could potentially influence your championship hopes this season? I mean, sometimes, you sort of get that phrase of, it's good to be out of the cup, just focus on the league. But you guys, of course, got the carrot now of a potential FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City there. So a potential, route to make the final. So is that a potential distraction from the league, do you think?
No, we're playing Man City. It's going to be over in a few weeks. When Haaland puts his 6 in, we'll be like, all right, it's okay. We can get back to the league now. Of course, there's always a chance. It's football. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Somebody could nod one in at the back post off his kneecap in the final minute after holding 0-0 all game. Do I think that'll derail the season? No, I think it'd help it, if I'm honest, because it'd give us that sense of belief, which in certain games we've been missing, We're a team that's second in the league, and in certain games we've been playing with low belief, like a low attacking mentality. When we go out to attack teams, we run them ragged. We've played teams this season that are meant to be amazing, and we've outworked them, out-attacked them, and looked brilliant. When we line up and give a team too much respect, or we hold back, this is when teams are causing us problems.
Yeah, I just want to sort of hone in on some of the key men in your squad. Of course, the 2 young Manchester City lads you got on loan, Doyle and McAtee, both of those seem to be getting pretty rave reviews. And of course, you managed to keep hold of your key man, Ndiaye, during the January transfer window, 11 goals, 7 assists. So I suppose, are those maybe the key men to look out for on Saturday?
Some Blades fans might not agree with me. Sander Berger, you can't take your eyes off him. A lot of those fans, he looks uninterested. He's lazy. Norwegian fans are at it at the minute. He's lazy. He looks uninterested. They stuck him out on the wing. They've got a manager who got, Wolves relegated to League One. I think that's his biggest achievement, isn't it? Getting Wolves relegated to League One. Telling Sander about his career and what to do. Go away. So if you play Sander in an attacking position, he's one of the best link-up midfielders you've got, and you can't look past him. He links up between. He's the reason why Tommy Doyle scored the other day. Gets the ball, instead of popping it at somebody's ankles, looks for the space, finds Doyle, who smashes it in. I'm gutted for McAtee and Doyle. Obviously, they won't be able to play in the semi-final, which is heartbreaking. So every league game is going to be their semi-final now, which is not good for the rest of the division. they're very good players, and I prefer it when it, as harsh as it sounds, Norwood's been brilliant for us. It's getting on a bit. When I don't think him and McBurney maybe have as much chemistry as playing McAtee and Doyle in the team does. I do think it tends to go a bit too long when Norwood plays sometimes. So I think that they are definitely key men, and then Dye's just wow. One of the first names on team sheet along with Sander, I think.
Yeah, I remember when we spoke back in October, you maybe spoke about Paul Heckingbottom's lack of plan B, which was kind of a bit of an issue. Has that maybe changed since we last spoke? I mean, it seems like your results are much more consistent maybe than they were at the start of the season. Has he maybe adapted anything at all?
No, because the games we've lost, he's not on a plan B. I think he's starting to develop one after Luton. There were panic calls, I'll say. Not from a lot of us. I think I said a few things in jest, just like reacting on Twitter, but the guy's done too well to kick him out. Look at his stats. But I think he got a bit of a kick up the Jacksy, and he's starting to adapt now. If there is a plan B there, he will change shape a little bit. He will adapt, and that's led us to some wins where sometimes we'd be look at the Blackburn game, change the shape completely. I know it was in the cup and it's different, but he needs to show that gunko-ness in the league as well sometimes, and I think he is starting to do, and that really benefits us. When we played you guys, it was a very rough and tumble game. He changed it then, and it worked really well. But after that game, he was a bit hesitant to do that again, which did surprise me. One thing I will give Paul, he is capable of learning from his mistakes. So every mistake he makes, he does learn from them, and that's what you want in a successful manager, I think.
Yeah, you just touched on it there. The 2-2 draw at the Lane earlier in the season, of course. Timo Pukki's late penalty miss was the sort of decider in you guys picking up a point from 2-0 down, of course. So I suppose what was your reflections on that game? Have you sort of got anything that maybe sticks out in the memory, or maybe what can you take from that moving into this Saturday's game?
I dislike Grant Handler. I think if him and Sharp end up playing against each other, that's going to be part two. That's never going to be nice, is it? That's either going to be a case of we're both going to end up down to 10 men and it's going to be a bit of a gritty game. Whereas I'd like it to be both teams going at each other, if I'm honest. You've got Kieran. Is Kieran Dowell fit?
No, he's actually injured. Yeah,
is he not?
Yeah, key man, obviously, for us under David Wagner since he's come in. But unfortunately, injured now for probably till the back end of April, unfortunately. So, yeah.
I always had good memories of Kieran Dowell when he played for. He's a very good player. Maybe not higher end Premier League player, but a very good one. So I was hoping you'd have players like him and Pookie at the best. What's your young lad up front called who's getting the goals?
Josh Sargent.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I wanted players like that against our best players, two teams going at it. Because one, it's better to watch for us fans. And two, you know where you stand then. None of this tactical fouls, jumping on the floor from both teams, trying to slow the game down to 10 men and pushing and shoving. Well, that can be entertaining as well. I just want to watch a good game of football.
Yeah, so are you maybe a little bit surprised to find Norwich where we are in the league? Of course, 7th
with the players you've got.
Yeah,
with the players you've got, definitely.
Yeah, I remember speaking at the start there of the season when we came to the Lane and you kind of spoke about Dean Smith not being a massive fan of him. So I suppose, are you maybe sort of surprised to have seen it end the way it did and then Norwich now go down a different route?
I'm not surprised to see Dean Smith leave the way he did, not at all. I do think that Wagner got you up. He knew what he could do with the squad, but the players he had, I always thought he was a bit unadventurous at times. He played a bit negative at times. Hold the ball, make it gritty, get a goal, sit on it. You've got players there that you can attack people with, and we had that brouhaha in the promotion season, didn't we? Where there was accusation of time wasted, and that carried on from the season before, and it's sort of like a little mock rivalry, didn't it? But that all came about the fact that you had such good players. And the managers thought, right, we've got to go. Sit on it. You've got players there to go for the kill. And that's what I want to see teams like you doing. And when you do, you can win games comfortably. And I think we can, if we did it more. Just look what we did to Burnley, 5-2. We won at the Bramall Lane. We went for the throat. That's what we are capable of. Can we do it on a consistent basis? Who knows? And I think that's Norwich's problem. They need to build some confidence. Think, we are good enough. We are good enough to be above 7th. Look what we've done in the past when we weren't playing brilliant football. We were playing efficient football. Go out there, play your best every game, and that's how you take a league by storm.
Yeah, it feels like probably our biggest game of the season, of course. Probably a little bit less pressure on you guys, albeit, you've still got a number of teams there, chasing you sort of behind. Sheffield United on the road this season, third highest in the Championship. So you've got a pretty good away record there. Of course, unbeaten in the last 6 games as well against Norwich. And I don't think we've actually beaten you at Carrow Road since 2010. So it's quite a record that you've got down here at Carrow Road, a happy hunting ground as such. So with that, going to get your thoughts on the game, Jonny, and sort of maybe where the key battles might be on Saturday.
It all depends how we line up. Like I said, if it's going to be the Hanley versus Sharp show, it's going to be a very, very gritty game. I'm hoping to see an attacking, flowing game. If that's the case, if we start with the 3 young lads in midfield, obviously you've got Berger, you've got McAtee, you've got Doyle, and you start with your best players, you've got Sargent running at them. I think it's going to be a real clash of attacking teams, and defenders are going to be knackered by the end of the game. If we go down the other route of it being a gritty, horrible push and shove match, I think both teams could end up easily down to 10 men, and it being a bit of a slogfest in the midfield and defensive areas, with the strikers kind of thinking, "Hold up, have we actually got anything to do here?" I'm hoping for the first option, if I'm 100% honest with you. Saying that does leave it as a bit of an enigma, because I think both teams are capable of picking up a very, very big win if we both go to attacking. You could look at both teams on paper and go, either team could easily smash the other. There's no defining. When you look at the league table, it's deceptive. You've got some brilliant players. So have we. We're starting to pick up his form again, which is good. Whereas I think you're just finding yours. You have a few off moments, but you're just starting to realise what you can do. And that's dangerous for teams like us who are sat at the top thinking, oh no. The last thing we want you to do is like a last-minute climb up to us, like, oh no, please God, no.
Yeah, so I suppose with that, maybe sort of, I've been a little bit surprised by the lack of quality, I suppose, in the Championship generally across the board this season. You kind of touched there upon sort of past clashes between us two teams, and it maybe feels like to me that there's maybe a lack across the board in the Championship, apart from maybe Burnley, that anyone could beat anyone in this league this season.
I said at the beginning of the season, any team that finishes above a fully fit Sheffield United wins the league. Well, we've not been fully fit, but the other bit's coming true. We're second, and obviously Burnley's top. Below us, Middlesbrough's got a lot of pace. Norwich are just finding the form. Luton, big surprise package, but they play so well as a unit, don't they? As a team, the team spirit will carry you far. They've got it nailed down to a T. Blackburn, I think, are one of the best footballing sides. They're coming into it. Stoke, as daft as it looks, Stoke have got a lot of quality, but they just can't find it. And the rest of the teams just seem to be a bit of a interplaceable mishmash. And it's like, who's where? Everybody could catch everybody. And that's weird, because I thought at the beginning of this season, this would be stronger than last season. I just thought there'd be better players, better teams, Watford coming down, etc. I thought it could be a really difficult one this season. I'm not to say it hasn't been difficult, but there's a difference between where we were last season and this season. And I think that really does show how similar a lot of the teams are in this division, other than the ones I've mentioned.
Yeah, big game feel, of course, on Saturday. So with that, going to put you on the spot. Score prediction for this one, Jonny?
I'm going to say, now I know Dowell's not playing, I'm going to go for 1-0.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been saying to a few people this week. I can see a draw, which probably is the worst, well, not necessarily the worst, but one of the worst results we could get, because we just need to keep touch, of course, with the playoffs. But for you guys, it's just a case of keep churning out the points. So it's not necessarily the worst thing on the road, I suppose.
That's it. Don't lose it. We've been losing a lot of our own games lately, which is sad, because we need to make Bramall Lane what it once was. We've been quite quiet at home this season as a fan base, which is surprising for a team second in the league. I don't know why. It seems to have been like that since COVID, really. But I think a lot of people went away. We were flying in the Premier League, and they came back and were in the Championship. It's like, wait, what? So a lot of people are still getting back into that groove. So we need to keep, especially away games, don't lose them. Even get a point on the road at Carrow Road is always a good result in my book. Big game down at your place. Atmosphere will be cracking, I think. People sometimes look down on games like, oh, it's Carrow Road, it's Norwich, it's blah, blah, blah. No, it's always a good atmosphere when I've been. It's always a bit of banter between the fans, nice and loud. So I'm hoping for a good one. I really am. And now I know Kieran Dowell's not going to score a last-minute winner. I'm a lot happier.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not many connections between the two sides, but he was probably the one that I'd have been looking for to potentially score the winner there. Hopefully be a good atmosphere, of these two sides, as we know, down the years, a little bit of a sort of sort of rivalries we've kind of alluded to at different points. So I can imagine both sets of fans will be up for this one. With that, really, thanks for joining me, Jonny. Really do appreciate your time. Do you just want to plug your YouTube channel for where Norwich and Sheffield United fans can find you?
Yep, I run the Sheffield United YouTube channel, the Shoreham View. It's a fan channel where we do vlogs, match day I don't want to say match day experiences. That sounds like one of them cheesy YouTubers. We do match day vlogs for grown-ups. We also do match previews, a little morning show called Beer and Breakfast, where it's obviously think 90s soccer AM on a very low budget, that kind of thing. And obviously we've got a lot of other stuff on there, some little mini documentaries if you're a Sheffield United fan. If you're a football fan in general, just some fun stuff.
That's great. Really appreciate your time. There we go, Norwich and Sheffield United fans. Head over to the Shoreham View and check out the channel for all of the content. Of course, we've got lots of great content across our channels ahead of this one on Saturday. We'll be down speaking to David Wagner on Friday afternoon, so we'll get all the latest team news ahead of this one. Of course, hopefully no more further injuries for Norwich City, of course, against such tough opposition. They'll be needing all of their forces for this one. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we'll be back for next week's edition of Terrace Talk.
Cheers,